You can't park here. That's Sir Henry Carmichael. You can't block him in. You can't keep a man like Sir Henry Carmichael jammed in behind a hole. You're deliberately trying to antagonize these people, aren't you? You wouldn't park that way in your part of town, would you? No, of course you wouldn't. You're being totally irresponsible.
This is a remarkable country. There's no class system, no privileged birthright, no poverty, hardly any bad weather. It helps, of course, to be a member of a certain sort of club to be aware of these things. Being in a place like this affects people in different ways. In some, it improves the posture, the diction, and the general attitude. Others respond less well.
Are we here for a reason or what?
My God, you've got the concentration span of a gnat. We're here to see Leon Klein.
Don't suppose you know the state of the track of Warwick Farm, do you?
Had some art treasures removed.
It would appear to be a crime.
Well, of course it's a crime.
I hear no mention of the police.
Ah, the police have been involved for 3 months and have discovered nothing. Well, Leon thinks he knows who did it.
Has he told the police?
No, he's going to tell us.
He's a remarkable man. I like the sound of him.
Ah, now, you see that?
Yep.
Came second in the city to Hobart.
Well done.
Excuse me, about that car of yours.
G'day, do you sell pies or pasties, stuff like that? The old man had a coat like that. Used to wrap up flatheads in.
Is that your BMW in the car park? The white 520?
No, I think not. Why?
Well, we need something to scoot around in. I thought perhaps BMW.
Oh, they're very good. Are you around town a lot?
Pardon? Yes, all the time.
Well, they handle well. Very economical. Plenty of kick if you wanted.
Yes, we were most impressed, I must say.
What are you driving now?
Just a beer, thanks.
What I say must go no further. Bryce, I know your father, and I trust you implicitly. Your friend here, I have not met before, but I like the look of him.
He's a very good operator.
Well, now, you know the story. The sculptures, a complete series of them, missing from my private collection for 3 months. They were a gift from my wife and treasured by both of us. Worth a great deal, aesthetically. They represent for us the culmination.
Money?
Fair question, yes. About $250,000. But we're not talking about money here. Deprivation of the soul. You can't put a figure on that.
Who do you suspect?
Whom?
Who do you suspect?
Had a young bloke working for me named Tanner. Barry Tanner. Ex-crim. On probation.
Do you think he was involved?
Look, I don't know. I really don't. He did have access to the collection. He did know its value, and he did clear off the week it was stolen.
Really?
Have you told the police any of this?
No, because I'm not sure that he did it. And I don't want him hurt if he didn't. Tanner's basically a good kid.
Still no joy from the police, Leon?
Afraid not, Henry.
Weak legal system. There's your trouble. Bloody government ought to put crooks on the payroll for all the good they do. The bastard who did Gareth's place got a bloody good behaviour bond and a lift home. It's a national disgrace, and the cost is astronomical.
Yes, but it's not so much the money, though, Henry.
Well, exactly. If they realise the hurt they cause to people's wives. Anyway, a tragedy, Leon. An absolute tragedy. We'll put your claim through as soon as possible.
You were insured.
Oh, yes. But as I said, money's not the problem. I want my sculptures back.
I know for a fact that your bill was paid, Mr. Henderson. I can remember Bryce signing it. He was sitting right there. Let's see.
You didn't get it.
No. Yep, check number 246132, City Branch, posted 2nd of May. I've got absolutely no idea why you didn't receive it. Look,
Wasn't
I'll
the
tell you what
mail.
I'll do. I'll get Bryce to draw another one and we'll have someone drop it round to you, all right?
No point, mate. It'll bounce.
And you are?
McBride. Kevin McBride. You were going to send us a cheque for $52 for stationery?
$52. No, we wouldn't send a cheque for $52. Oh, anything that small would have to come out of petty cash. Look, why don't you come back tomorrow and I'll give it to you out of the tin. I would give it to you now, but I just don't have the key with me. I'm sorry.
I don't believe this. I don't know how you stand it.
How do your blokes sleep at night making you do that sort of thing?
Is your secretary a woman?
Yeah, she is, as a matter of fact. They do 3 months on the beat and 3 months in the office. My next secretary used to be a boxer.
What can I do for you, Sergeant?
This fella Klein that's had his sculptures stolen.
Oh, I'm afraid I can't discuss that.
Oh, of course. Now, this fella Klein that's had his sculptures stolen, if your lads come up with anything, you might point out the advantages of pooling information.
What advantages?
Or with the disadvantages of driving an unroadworthy vehicle, failing to register a business partnership, misleading advertising, arson.
Arson?
Yeah, just to get their attention. And then point out the advantages of pooling information.
Where'd you get that thing, eh? Your tyre's flat. Hey! Wanna go? Wanna go? Go on!
You like modern sculpture, Bryce?
Oh, it's virtually the only medium. It's that very private, tactile communion. That way in which, in a sense, when we touch it, it touches us.
These are all works by Laszlo Kovacs, a European sculptor. Probably the most significant of the immediately post-war infrastructuralists.
Not a bad middle-order batsman either, by all accounts.
This particular series is obviously more conceptual than a lot of his work.
Oh, obviously.
Oh, it's upside down. I'm sorry, I had it the wrong way in.
Oh, yes, I see. Yeah, that's extremely conceptual. More conceptual up the right way, isn't it, Bryce?
And yet, you know, there is a sense in which it almost doesn't matter which way up a Kovacs is.
He does have an extraordinary gift.
Yeah, he did the first time, sticking the pedestal in the ceiling and sculpting his way back down towards the floor. How would you steal one of those things? They look fairly big.
You'd have to know what you were doing. Ah, my favorite. Allegorical Woman 3.
I bet the other two don't look well.
That really is fantastic, isn't it?
If we find nothing else, the recovery of this particular one would make me much happier.
Hang on, Pat. No, can you go back? Clutch plate, 1952 Zephyr.
Okay, Pat.
One of the most conceptual cars ever made, the 52 Zephyr.
Did you get me a coffee? White with one?
Ditto. Foul stroke, 2 away. Why don't you play the 6?
It was a 9.
So why don't you play it?
It was Pat's.
Play the 12, Pat.
You want money for this advice? We're only relatively poor people. Good shot.
Can you put backwards running side the ball?
You taking questions from the floor? Why are you going round art galleries?
Find the sculptures.
What can I do?
Pop the 10 and come back for the 14.
I want to work on this case.
Specialised area, Pat. You can't just go out and do it.
You do?
Good point, Pat.
Good shot, Pat.
I'm coming with you on this case.
You're being emotional, Pat.
Either you take me on this case or I leave.
There's really not much you can do. He's doing the galleries and I'll find talent.
That's about the strength of it.
Who's doing the shipping agents? Who's dealing with the overwhelming possibility that these sculptures have already left the country?
Now, look, if you really want to be useful, we're going to need plenty of backgrounding. We'll need all the information we can get on modernism. We'll need catalogues, exhibition listings.
I really think I should do the shipping agents, Bryce.
With respect, Pat, that's a complete waste of time.
Good. I'll give it a go then. Art galleries are full of two sorts of people, artists and people with talent. Julietta, the owner of the cleverly named Concepts Gallery, is like a good red wine. She improves with money. Equally at home in a pair of jodhpurs or a kilo of coke, she has full membership at an aerobics course and goes there only when she has a hangover. Her companion is one of the many millions of women the world over who think Julio Iglesias is a singer.
I love the Ericsson. It's got a really positive vibe. And you're right about the red against the turquoise wall. It looks fabulous with the Japanese woodblocks.
Right, of course. Aggressive, sublime. We've sold heaps of his stuff to other agencies, too. He'll stay there.
Friend or foe?
Indiscretion while extremely unwell.
Looks all right.
Has the mind of a juice extractor.
Oh, very good sense of direction.
Bryce! Gorgeous old Bryce.
See you.
Your beauty transcends all things.
You're a liar, and they're my favorites.
Roger still camping children's teeth?
I hope so.
He never knew, did he?
How have you been?
Great night, eh? Ski lodge, you and me, too much to drink, minds lock in.
What are you doing these days?
I'm working for Leon Klein.
Really?
Yes, he had some sculpture stolen. I said I'd ask around the art world, you know, call in a few favors.
Kovacs.
Good girl. Have you seen them lately? Heard any whispers?
With the Kovacs? Don't be absurd. They're too well known. The police were in here 3 months ago.
Yes, well, that's what I said to Leon. We were in the yacht club at the time. And, of course, poor bloody Leon was absolutely shattered. As would be anyone who'd had their Kovacs lifted.
Delighted if someone took mine. I hate his stuff.
God, so do I.
Too impersonal.
I agree completely. Cold as a wet fish.
Say nothing to me.
Just a lot of metal.
Have you talked to anyone else?
No, not yet.
Well, talk to Pippa.
Ah.
There's someone who can sculpt. Hilaire Bacchus.
Yes, brilliant man.
You've heard of him? He's never had an exhibition before.
Now, I don't know much about what I like, Jules, but I do know an awful lot about art.
You want to come?
Would you mind?
Starts at 6. Have a cold shower. 5:30.
I'm trying to find out about a mate of mine who used to be his probation officer. Barry Tanner. Oh, I see. Well, have you kept in contact with him? Would you have an address I could try then? Be with you in a minute, mate. Yeah? Yeah, hang on. Oh. Would you have a pen I could borrow or something? A mate of mine, Barry Tanner.
You fixed Wayne, didn't you?
No, sorry, wrong bloke. Apparently he,
We reckon
hangs
you
around.
did.
I'm sorry, I don't know what you're talking about.
He's still in hospital because of you and your gutless mates.
Sorry, I don't know what you're talking about.
Get him!
Excuse me. I'm sorry to interrupt again.
Oh, no trouble, love. Over with the other lot, Steve.
I found something here that could be what I'm looking for.
Well done. We should take you on. We can never find anything.
Do you put a black dot beside an entry when it's been sent?
Yes, that is correct.
And if an entry hasn't got a black dot, what does that mean?
Well, if there's no black dot, it means, do you mind? Do you mind?
don't know how your business is going, Bryce. It might be very successful. I don't know.
Thank you.
And I hope you won't take this the wrong way. But this Ken, is he really the partner you want? I don't know. Maybe he is. But he doesn't much impress me, Bryce. I've heard him sniping away with his silly remarks. It doesn't offend me. It doesn't bother me. I'll speak frankly, if I may.
Absolutely.
The company we keep is important, Bryce. This bloke Ken's got a chip on his shoulder the size of a forest. He's jealous of you. You must have noticed that.
Yes, I have.
I'll tell you who his natural partner is. Tanner. I've seen it all before 1,000 times. We don't need him, Bryce. You don't need him. And who else are you carrying down there? I reckon that's potentially a very good little business you've got there. I'm sure you could improve on Ken.
Yes, you're right. He's a bit of an embarrassment, I'm afraid.
He's a liability, Bryce.
No, I don't know him. Where's he from?
Right here, I think.
Not too many Tanners. There was a Kevin Tanner. He had the pub at Footscray. He had some boys.
No, I don't think that's him.
Now, what were their names? Let me see. It was Gavin. He was the eldest. Xavier. Kelvin. Remember Kelvin? Real troublemaker. There was another boy. Could have been married. How old's this mate of yours?
About 35.
Yeah, he'd be about that age now.
Well, do you know where I can find him? Or any of them?
Yeah, Queensland.
When did they move?
1967. August, I think. Hey, Brett, that was the youngest. Good well away.
Are you sure this is the right number for Mr. Dawkins?
Hey, Bryce, lend us $5. Something running at Warwick Farm in half an hour. Might surprise the experts if you get through on the turn.
What about Tanner?
Tanner. Must be a late scratching, mate.
You're a passenger, Ken. You're not pulling your weight, boy.
Look, if you haven't got the $5, just say so. It's nothing to be ashamed of.
Do you know what I've done today?
Yachting? Any yachting, or was it all go at the galleries?
Have we found Tanner?
No.
Have you looked?
Hey, Jack. Bloke called Barry Tanner hasn't been in here looking for me, has he?
No, mate. This consignment of artworks was booked out of the country on June the 15th.
Really?
But it didn't turn up.
Didn't it?
Dawkins is the name. I'm going to go around and see him tomorrow.
You know, Pat, it really would be so much better if you just put your feet up and ran the office.
How are you, Ken?
Oh, very humble, Pat. Keep forgetting we're working with Jesus Christ.
Ah, good. I want a word with you lot.
Listen, frankly, I sympathize with your position, and pulling information is fine in theory, but our contacts in the art world have taken a fair while to bring on stream, and I can't...
Now, look, we're not all that interested in your art world contacts.
Oh, what do you want to know?
The name Dawkins.
Yeah, W. Dawkins. He registered a consignment of artworks out of the country 4 months ago.
Where did they go?
Didn't turn up.
How'd you find that out?
Oh, there's another record down there. It's a sort of dispatch ledger or something. I looked it up in there and couldn't find it. They didn't match. The stuff was never delivered.
Yeah, that really is very clever.
Henry Bolte once said that the quality of life is the house and garden, which was his way of saying that he had a nice house and a lovely garden.
Who
didn't know.
How do you do? I was wondering...
What do I want?
I don't know.
I'm looking for a mate of mine called Barry Tanner.
What's going on?
Somebody looking for Barry. I've never heard of him.
Oh, well, thanks anyway.
Who told you to come here?
No, it's all right. I thought his sister lived there.
Who told you that? What do you want Barry for?
No, it's not important. She'll be right.
Look, if I see him, I can give him a message.
Oh, yeah? Well, I was really just going to say g'day.
Well, who shall I say?
Bryce.
Bryce says g'day.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't seen him for a bit.
When did you last see him?
Barry? Ooh, I haven't seen him since,
Listen, Bryce, try the panel beater in Clifton Hill. They might know where he is.
Oh.
Whether or not this used to be the office of a Mr. W. Dawkins, do you?
Γεια σου. Ναι, εγώ είμαι πολύ ευχαριστημένος που ήρθες στην Αυστραλία. Εδώ είναι η παράδεισος γη της απαγγελίας σου, ό,τι θέλεις έχεις. Να, πας στο χασάπι και παίρνεις ένα ολόκληρο σφαχτό, του βάζεις κάτω λοιπόν και τρως. Τρως ρε παιδάκι μου, κουρδέεις. Και στραναράς μπροστά στο τηλεβίζιο και φρένεται ψυχής. Τώρα κι όλα που μας δείχνει και καμιά ελληνική ταινία. Τι άλλο, κουλτούρα θέλεις. Να, πιάνεις και φτιάχνει το δικό σου σύλλογο και γίνεσαι πρόεδρος. Και έτσι μπορείς να καμαρώνεις και δίπλα σε κανένα βουλευτή για καμιά φωτογραφία. Τι άλλο θέλεις, ό,τι θέλεις.
Thank you. Thank you. It's quite well recognized now that one of the most serious threats to the health of this society is work-related stress. Any tension should be guarded against. Any risk of overwork or taking on too much should be avoided. Warning signs are all there. Slow down. Pace yourself. Don't gamble with your own health.
Whatever happened to Hamish Wilberforce?
He nose and throat in San Paulo. Married the better-looking Trascott girl.
Sarah.
Lydia.
Ah. What about the Kimball guy?
David? Divinissimo. And of Pepper's conquests. He's a shipbroker or something. Won some medal at the Olympics. Dressage or coxless pairs or something. No, that can't be right, can it, Pip?
I saw Jane Dutton a while ago.
She's changed.
Has she?
She's working class now. Wears sort of black silk overalls and gets lots of grants. Engaged to Sam and Colthorpe.
Really?
G'day.
Oh, hello.
Barry Tanner?
Yeah, what about him?
I'm looking for him.
You're wasting your time, huh?
He's a mate of mine.
Yeah? Well, he hasn't been here for 6 months. He left owing a few people some money. If he's got any brains, he won't be back here for a while.
E.H. Holden.
No, look, we traced it too, even when it was an office. It wasn't Dawkins. It was just a false address.
False names, too?
Yeah, we think so. We think so. I think it might be a bloke we know quite well called Egan. How are the boys?
Oh, I hardly ever see them. Ken's still looking for Tanner and Bryce is setting up a spy network in the galleries.
Oh, well, if anything happens, let us know.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
All right, Tanner. Now, who the hell's Tanner?
What are you thinking?
Nothing. What are you thinking?
Nothing, really. Have you read much Byron?
Why?
life, love, the ways of the world.
Why Byron?
Well, he was the true romantic. His soul burnt up with passion. He actually died for love.
Thought he died of marsh fever.
Did he? There was a woman there somewhere.
Wasn't Byron the one with the club foot? Married his sister?
Yes. Must have been thinking of Keats.
No, consumption. Listen, Bryce, Errol's going to be back any second, I'm afraid.
Hey, say no more. I'm used to quick exits.
The opening of an exhibition is a unique and very wonderful experience. The women are expensive looking and wear sunglasses in their hair, and there are two types of men. There are some who wear leather patches or cricket pullovers and who are probably used for breeding, and there are those who wear short wet haircuts, figure-hugging costumery, and who keep their legs together even when running from molten lava.
Ladies and gentlemen, could I have your attention, please? Just a few words about the pieces themselves. Most of these are by Ilarion Bicus, who is a really major talent and whose imaginative work, particularly with metals, has a good deal to teach us about ourselves. Now, his work is about to break internationally for the investment-minded. I think Bicus is going to be just absolutely colossal. So, enjoy, enjoy. Thank you.
This Tanner's got a record.
All right.
Bit of petty, a few cars, some shoplifting.
Probation?
Yeah, prison, short stay only.
New dresses?
Yeah, 18 months ago.
Oh, well. What's that? You eating?
Jules, which one's Bicus?
Not here. Never comes. Won't have anything to do with it.
How very enigmatic.
Makes him seem so much more interesting. He's very smart.
Hey, Bryce.
Excuse me. Yes?
Who's Ilarion Bicus?
He's a neo-linear fauvist. Modal expressionism, sense of style in a classical manner.
Oh, yeah. Seen this one before?
No.
Laszlo Kovacs.
Don't be absurd, Ken. Bicus is very eclectic. You'll find traces of all sorts of things in his work. Jules? Jules?
Clutch plate, 1952 Zephyr.
In a word, Jules, the difference between this and Laszlo Kovacs.
An abyss. Kovacs is all structure. It says light, motility, humanity. Man's your actual genius. The difference is just absolutely super immense.
Very similar clutch plates. I bet there's an E.H. Holden in here somewhere.
Why were you so interested in that last sculpture?
I'm an art lover from way back, Pat.
There's something about it, wasn't there? I could see your brain go into overdrive.
I was moved.
Well, no such thing, Ken. It's left here. Thanks. You know where Tanner is, don't you?
No.
If you did know, would you tell me?
Straight ahead?
Would you tell Bryce?
Straight ahead?
Yes, on the corner of this laneway up here. You wouldn't, would you?
What?
Tell Bryce.
He's got a lot on his plate at the moment.
Would you tell me?
Wouldn't have to, would I?
Do you want to come in for a cup of tea?
No, I'd better go. Minding my brother's greyhound.
See you.
Yeah.
Well, there's still no sign as yet of Tanner, and the art world's on red alert for the sculptures. But, and here's something I think that will intrigue you. I discovered in the shipping records office that someone had made a booking for a consignment of artworks to leave the country. But when I checked, the consignment never went. Now, the man's name was Dawkins, but we believe it's really someone called Egan. Now, I've done quite a bit of follow-up work on him.
And what have you found?
I haven't quite locked all the details in as yet.
No, you've still got a few details outstanding on that one.
Look, all this isn't getting us anywhere. I'm not much interested in a clerical oversight in the records office of a shipping company. I've asked you to find Tanner. That seems plain enough to me. Tanner is around somewhere, and I want you to find him. All these other things have got nothing whatever to do with that. God knows it. We all flew off at tangents all over the place. Nothing would ever get done at all. I put a lot of faith in you, Bryce. I shall be bitterly disappointed if it transpires that that faith has been put into somebody who simply isn't up to it. You decide. You want to be in the first 11, you're going to have to get some runs.
I told you that crap with the shipping records office was a waste of time. Do you see what you've done to me? Do you? Now, I went into bat for you then, but I can't keep carrying you, Pat.
What's all that about?
G'day, Tanner. I went to an Illyrian Bikers exhibition last night.
Any good?
Seemed to go pretty well, yeah.
Good. Yeah, pleased to hear it. You want the world's worst counter lunch?
All right.
It meant a lot to me, Pipper. I want you to know that. Oh, well, maybe we can pick it up from where we left off.
Come on, Bryce.
Yeah, sure, I understand. Look, you don't have to explain. Well, I'm a man of the world. I've been around a bit. Yeah, sure. Look, I appreciate your honesty. Okay. Bye. Damn. I mean, what do you think you're doing? That just happened to be the possible linchpin in this whole Tanner charade.
Was it? Hello, this is Joyce Danderfield from the Company Law Directorate. I was wondering if I could have a word with your administrator, please.
What the hell do you think you're doing?
I will, thank you. Looking for another linchpin.
Yeah, there's one very good thing about the steak here. It's not the fish. Well, we've worked out who I am. Who are you?
Ken. Yeah, sorry, Ken. Working for client.
Looking for me?
Looking for various things.
But mainly me. What did he tell you?
Well, he really just said that he suspected you and he didn't want to see you get too badly clobbered.
Lovely bloke he is, too. He knows bloody well I took them. He paid me to take them. He went yachting for the weekend. I was to get the sculptures out and give them to Egan, who was getting them out of the country.
Who's Egan?
Egan, Ted Egan. He's a fence. Very good one, too, apparently. The stuff all leaves the country 2 days before the theft's reported. Lovely little touches like that. Of course, it's all over-insured to buggery. Klein collects the money and puts the stuff on the market overseas. He can't lose.
What did you do?
What would you do? Klein's an absolute bastard. Here he is going to fleece everyone at once, and I'm his delivery boy. I went missing with him.
Which is why Klein wants you.
Which is why Klein wants me.
And why he doesn't want the police involved. Where did you take them?
Brought them up here. A mate of mine runs this place. I started mucking about with them one day when I had nothing better to do. Some art bloke sees them and we're away. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm mainly just making them look different.
Has anyone noticed?
About Kovacs? No. I've bent them around a fair bit, mind you. Stuck a few extra car parts on 1 or 2 of them.
Do you know how much they are to buy now?
Oh, 5 or 6 grand.
Saw one for 7.5 grand last night.
Really? I only get about 2.5 of that, you know.
Yeah.
We artists get pretty badly ripped off. Still, it's not a bad day for spot welding. By my standards, I'm making a fortune. It's the best job I've ever had.
What are you going to do with it all?
Oh, I've got a sister down here in the housing commission with a horde of kids. I'll get them out of there. There's another woman down there who's been very decent too. We'll fix her up. It's not going to go a long way. There's a few people around here who need stuff.
I'm afraid I really must ask you to hang up that phone, Pat. Not only are you wasting company time, but you are depriving me of the major tool of my trade.
Right, Bryce. Hello, James Holdings. Yes, could I have the name of your chairman, please?
This really has to stop, Pat.
Huh?
G'day, Tiger. That looks good. The reception's lousy. Oh, Mary, this is a mate of mine, Ken.
I thought it was Bryce.
No, it's Ken.
Well, you said it was Bryce.
I was wrong.
I should have known you wouldn't get a decent picture in this stuff.
You got your own name wrong.
Bryce is a sort of a nickname. Joke.
That's about as good as I can get it.
Well, it doesn't matter how good you get it, Barry. We don't want it. You can take it back.
What's the matter with you? That's not hot. Ask Ken.
No, first you give us a new fridge, then a washing machine, then one of those air Watsons, and now this. Last time you gave me anything, you went to prison for 12 months, and that was only a hairdryer.
It's okay this time. I'm not going to go to prison again. That thing there is as clean as a whistle, isn't it?
Why would I listen to him? He can't even get his name right.
Now, don't worry about a thing, Mary. It's going to be all right. I know what I'll do. I'll get you a better aerial.
You know that building I went to the other day, Dawkins' non-existent office?
I don't want to know about it, Pat. Drop it.
It's owned by Klein.
If anybody wants me, I'll be at Determinations Gallery being useful.
The building is owned by Klein, Bryce.
So, you have discovered that Klein, who was a rich man, owns a building. He probably owns half of Melbourne. The point is, he is our client. He is paying us to find his sculptures, not to go chasing after someone called Dawkins, and certainly not to go prying into his personal affairs. As it happens, I think Klein is the most honest man I've ever met. Where have you been?
Out. That's where it's all happening, Bryce. Out there in the streets.
Did you find Tanner?
He's disappeared.
Well, last seen, last address, probation officer, there must be something.
Yeah, well, I can tell you all those things. Current whereabouts is the big mystery. Client's insurance payment through yet?
Now, I reckon that attitude stinks, Ken. That really stinks. I didn't think you quite appreciate the bloody position. This is a professional arrangement. We're being paid to do a bloody job here, yes?
Any sign of Tanner?
No.
Who's he supposed to be? Who's his Tanner?
Tanner used to work for Klein. Disappeared about the same time these
Who told you that? You didn't know that?
Yeah,
Yes, hang on a minute. You didn't know about Tanner. What the hell's going on here?
Oh, fantastic. Well done, Pat. Did you give him a sock size? I'll take a 9. You bloody idiot.
G'day.
G'day.
You right?
Fine. Another masterpiece.
Oh, we live in hope.
Listen, we just had some members of the police force pay us a social call.
Ah. My name come up?
Afraid so. If you were planning a little holiday, it might be an idea to bring the date forward a bit.
How'd they find out?
Buggered if I know.
Oh, well, I thought things were going a bit well.
Sorry. Take care of yourself, eh?
Do we move in?
We've got all the exits covered. Just wait a minute. I thought I asked you to get me juicy fruit.
They ran out.
It was an accident. I didn't tell him.
I don't know how you did it, Pat, and it doesn't much matter, but the point is you did tell him. You must be careful of everything you say here. Why do you think Ken and I never know anything? We're not complete idiots. You must protect your information at all times.
Sorry. I don't know what Ken's going to do now.
Does Ken know where Tanner is?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know why I bother. It's hopeless. Absolutely bloody hopeless.
Barry Tanner. CIB, I'd have a word.
Where?
For God's sake, Tanner, don't be stupid. him back to the office.
You'd never heard of Tanner. You weren't watching Tanner, you wouldn't know where to look. Pat drops a bundle and suddenly you're on a Tanner hunt. Yeah, well, I know what happened, mate. You followed me, didn't you? Hey? I led you to him, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah, you think you're so bloody smart and clever, don't you? You great big dumb bastard.
Okay, just shut up and sit down. Okay, certain facts you should know. Number one, we followed you to Tanner. Now, we could have arrested Tanner with you standing there. We didn't. We could have arrested you with Tanner and we didn't. Number two, and you can't go past this one, we're investigating a robbery and Tanner did it.
Who said Tanner did it?
Tanner does. Full statement, 6 pages, hasn't got a leg to stand on.
Have you arrested Klein, who paid Tanner to do it?
Yes, and Egan. We haven't arrested you lot, though. We were also paid by Klein. Now, I don't like Klein. I agree with you about Tanner, but he's committed a crime. We can't get Klein without grabbing Tanner. Tanner will be all right. It's Klein that's for the chop. The courts hate insurance frauds. He's had it.
Not that simple, I'm afraid, Leon. The inflated insurance claim is still your big problem.
No, there's a way around it, Lex. There has to be. If it's a serious problem, sprinkle some money about.
The court's got the documents.
There has to be a way around it, Lex. Shall we get Henry in? It's his insurance company. We could run it past him, get another opinion.
Oh, I'm not sure that's appropriate at this time.
I'm not prepared to go to prison, Lex. That's your problem. You're the lawyer.
You still there, Frank?
Did you call?
Yeah, make sure someone very smart from legal aid gets on to Tanner, will you? His address is here somewhere. Hang on. 36 Lucas Street.
He's still here.
Well, when he gets out.
He's not going out, he's on remand. The others got bail, but Tanner's still on remand. He couldn't get the bail.
Well, what was his bail?
$2.5 grand.
Well, what about all the money he got from the sculptures?
He gave it away. Silly clot hasn't got a quid to his name.
Poor bastard.
Henry.
Leon.
I'd like you to come and meet my lawyer, Henry.
No use from Leon. I never knew a problem that couldn't be solved without a lawyer.
I'm told your lawyers are going to clean me up.
I've been thinking about that. Would you have written me a letter before all this started? Cancelling your household contents policy? Specifically, the schedule relating to works of an artistic character. A letter I never received. A letter that went astray in our internal system. Computer walls up or something.
Yes, I believe I did.
Strange the way things turn out, isn't it, Leon? Those units of mine on the Gold Coast, for example. I bought them just before the bum dropped out of the market. Frankly, I thought I'd made a mistake. Thought I'd done $250,000. And yet, here you are, standing here, telling me you need units on the Gold Coast.
What about the wording of this letter?
It'll have to be done legally. Get a lawyer to do it.
Listen, Barry, I've done a bit of checking. We're looking down the barrel a bit here, I'm afraid, Barry. The guy has come out of the coma, and he's now claiming that you hit him with the bottle.
Hit who with the bottle?
Yes, well, that's our case. But, you see, he was sitting down at the time, so provocation's difficult. You can't really argue it was an accident.
I think you've got the wrong bloke.
Finane? Barry Finane?
No, Tanner, Barry Tanner.
Oh, Jesus. Sorry, mate. We've had a lot of cutbacks. Who took your call in the first place? Was it Kathy or Darren?
I don't know. It was a woman.
Nah, that'd be Kathy. Tanner. Barry Tanner. Rings a bell. Something about paintings, wasn't it?
It's a good Lex to do, I must say.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, there we are. What'd I tell you? Renews your faith in the law, that sort of thing.
You stupid
Ken! Ken, for heaven's sake, I'm sorry!
In the fast lane, Bryce and Ken take a course in self-assertiveness and leadership skills. And in just a few moments on ABC, your brickbats and bouquets in Backchat.